How's the audio? How's the picture? How do I look? I don't know. We'll have to find that out in post-production.
Hey everyone! Come and see how good I
What's up guys, I'm Jake the Lawn Kid. Thanks for coming back for yet another week. So in today's video, we're going to be doing what I like to call walk and talk. We're going to walk around the old neighborhood here, take a look at some lawns, find some problems, talk about what contributes to those problems, and then give you some overall tips to help you improve those problems so that you can be dominating by Halloween. Now before we get into the video here, you might not be able to tell, but I really need a haircut. It's been well over a month and you can see things are really growing out. So I'm going to go ahead and get that taken care of here, and then we'll get into the video.
So we decided to sing about it.
Much better. Hey player, what's up dude? What you looking at, buddy? Ah, the stripes. You like them too. I know, they look good, don't they? Back home, you gotta admire that beauty back there. I'm really proud to call it my own. Anyway, before we get into the tips, I am actually getting ready to run out and do a little bit of work real quick. This is actually work for one of my dad's good friends, and he lives a little bit out of the neighborhood down the street here, and he's got a beautiful house, really big property, and a little bit of that is lawn, and he wants me to cut that lawn today, so why not, man? I'm not going to turn down chances like that. He's got a still back here. Much better, all done with the lawn. Now let's get into the tips. The whole idea of today's video is I just want to take you around, show you guys some lawns around the neighborhood here, talk about some issues, talk about what may have contributed to those issues based on my own knowledge, and then talk about what we can do to fix those issues. Before we get going, I want you guys to understand what my weather cycle's been like. It's been fairly cool, 75, 80 degrees, and we've also had a lot of rain days lately. Along with that, lots and lots of winds. So great year for cool season grass overall. Just wanted you guys to know that so you can get a better idea of the weather conditions I'm dealing with, so that might contribute to part of what we're seeing. I'm guessing that if there is any disease or any soil compaction or things like that, it's not going to be that bad right now, being that we are getting a lot of rain and a lot of cool temperatures and wind, which again, this cool season grass just loves. This first one I'm about to show you, there's a couple issues here, and I'm sure you guys who've seen me do videos with the lawn care nut in the past couple years, we've actually done a couple videos of this yard too. Just from first glance, the biggest problem with this lawn is that it's being cut too low, and it's also contributing to a lot of the other problems we're seeing here. Like look, because it's being cut so low, right, he's probably not mulching properly, he's probably cutting too much off. I guarantee that maybe there was so much thatch over time that contributed to the thinness, things like that. Overall, we got a thin stand of turf here, and the reason that is because of compaction. You see, when you cut cool season grass this low, you're exposing the soil to sunlight where it can then dry out and then compact and things like that, and then it makes it really hard to grow grass. If you're trying to grow grass here, it's like trying to grow grass on concrete again. Just not possible. Here's an idea. If you're noticing that your yard looks a little bit browned out and it looks a little short, try raising your mowing height and mowing a little bit more frequently and see if it gets better, and if it doesn't, go on to further diagnostics. This next one here, this lawn right here is actually a tall fescue lawn, as opposed to this one, which is actually a little bit of rye and Kentucky bluegrass. But tall fescue, it requires a tall cut. In fact, it even says it in its name, tall fescue. tall fescue, meaning cut it at the tallest setting no matter what you do. So that's the main issue here, is that it is a tall fescue lawn. It's not a very rigid grass type, and when you cut it shorter, it just has this brownish cast to it. So if you have a tall fescue lawn, the best way to tell is to come in here and look at the blades. Notice how they're a little wide bladed, right? And it also feels very rigid and very solid when you walk on it. Like literally, I'll demonstrate. It just feels very solid, actually very nice too. It's a lot more rigid, right? If you have a tall fescue lawn and you're noticing a little bit of a brownish cast to it, try mowing it at the tallest setting and see if things clear up. Really what I'm trying to harp on you guys is that it's very important that you know your grass type and the properties of your grass type. Like, this lawn demonstrates it very well. If you have a tall fescue lawn, you really have to mow it tall. If you have a ryegrass or a bluegrass lawn, they might do a little bit better at a little bit shorter of a cut, being that they're not very rigid grass types. So it's very important that you cut your lawn based on how your lawn responds to real world actions. Just thought I'd show this to you real quick. Customer lawn. Looking good. And for those of you guys who are concerned on whether or not I'm still using the riding mower, there's your answer. Once again, the biggest problem I'm seeing as I'm walking down the block is a lot of the same problems. People are just mowing too low, lower than recommended. You'll notice we actually have some crabgrass breakthrough over here, and a lot more along the edges, because a lot of heat is quickly obtained here in the pavement, and then what happens is it retains heat much longer throughout the year, and that contributes to everything along the edges being a couple weeks ahead of everything out here. In fact, that's why a lot of you guys who have very weak lawns, these areas are the first to go into dormancy and dry out due to all the heat that's being retained here. So again, that's why I harp on you guys. It's very important that you mow tall so you have more leaf blade surface to shade the root zone, and also some more photosynthesis can happen, which will result in a deeper root system and thicker growth. Got some clover in here, we got some crabgrass, and the way you can take care of this, the clover, would be to look for a simple 3-way weed control you can get at the store. Just make sure it contains 2,4-D and dicamba, the active ingredients, and that'll take care of a lot of the broadleaf weeds you're seeing right now. And as far as the crabgrass goes right now, you don't just want an over-the-counter product because it's so mature right now. We want something with a little bit more of a higher concentration. If you're going to buy something for crabgrass, I highly recommend you pick up some Conclorac. I'll leave a link in the description below to where you can pick some of that up. Again, the reason I want you to get it is because I want you guys to get something with a little bit higher concentration that'll be able to help control this crabgrass in its later stages. Well, what do you know? More dollar spot. The problem over here is that this lawn doesn't have enough nitrogen input into it, and as I mentioned, that's what contributes to dollar spot. Is when you're not inputting enough nitrogen, you're not watering it enough, the lawn is weak and it's more susceptible to develop a disease like dollar spot. And again, the best way to tell you have dollar spot is to look for the clusters. See it? See how it's pretty much clustered throughout there, and it's actually the size of a $50? That's how you know you have dollar spot. And you get a little bit deeper, as I mentioned in my video on dollar spot, get down here, and you could see the red margins on the lesions themselves. That's how you know you have dollar spot. Hey Cass, what's going on? What's So I heard that you're having a little bit of issues adjusting the height on your mower.
Oh, is that,
Yeah.
is that what your dad says?
Yeah. My dad actually told me that you don't know how to do it.
No, I know. Don't listen to anything your dad says. I know how to do it. So he's thinking I should lower it a little.
Raise it a little
raise
bit.
it,
Definitely raise it.
I have it almost all the way up. I have one down from all the way up.
Pretty good. So you've brought it up a little bit, huh?
Because you're supposed to let it grow a little higher.
Yeah. Actually, here's what I've started doing, and I've actually been harping on my followers about this, is that with a grass type like what you have, it's a little bit of perennial rye and Kentucky blue.
Okay.
You actually want to cut it a little bit lower than normal because it's not a very rigid grass type, and you want to cut it twice a week at most if you can.
Okay, I usually cut every Monday.
And the reason you want to do that is because you don't want it to grow too much, because if you cut too much off in a mowing, you're actually going to stunt the growth.
Okay. So you only want to cut a little off. So that's good though, where it is.
Yeah.
The height. Okay.
That's good. So you just do that twice a week and you'll be fine.
Tell your dad you got me straightened out.
I will.
All right.
Yeah.
Show Sully.
All right, Cass.
All right,
Always
bud.
a present.
Take care. Yeah.
All right, you too. Present day, I'm just finishing up with the edit, and I wanted to go ahead and wrap this video up. I know I'm repeating a lot of the same things about most people are cutting too low, and it's really important that you do raise your height this time of year, because as I've talked about, it makes your lawn more resilient to drying out, because as I've mentioned, when you cut all that leaf blade surface off, you're exposing the soil to the sun, which makes it more vulnerable to drying out and becoming more compacted, and it just makes it much harder to grow turf on. It's like trying to grow grass on concrete, as I've mentioned all throughout this video. It just doesn't work. Another mistake I'm seeing when it comes to mowing too low is that people are not mowing often enough, meaning they'll cut the lawn really low and they'll mow like every 2 to 3 weeks. That is not good, because when you do that, what happens is you're actually leaving clumps on the lawn that can actually increase next year's thatch layer. It'll also culturally thin things out. Another problem I'm seeing with a lot of homeowners nowadays is that they're mowing at the correct height, 4 inches is what we tell you to do, but what they're doing is they're mowing in the same direction every week, and that's not good, because what I want you to imagine here, you're mowing the lawn same direction each week, same stripes, no matter what you're doing, and what you're doing is you're training the grass blades to lay over a little bit rather than stand straight up. As time goes on, you're going to gradually start pushing the grass blades down more and more. You're going to get less and less of a true cut every time. It's going to end up cutting off any airflow for air, water, and nutrients to penetrate the soil, and it's going to end up trapping excess moisture, and that's going to lead to a lot of fungus, specifically brown patches I've talked about in my last video. Also, even on a normal year like this, another thing that can contribute to brown patch is when you water your lawn in the evenings. Beautiful summer night, but over here, it almost looks like the whole block is watering in the evening here. That's just a problem waiting to happen. Yeah, man, just look at this. It's really a beautiful sight. Looks to be covering pretty well too. Look at this. This is funny. Sprinklers going here. Looks to be good coverage. Using the impact. Another impact right there. I don't know how many times I can tell you this. You do not want to water your lawn in the evening, because what you're doing is you're extending the amount of time that you have water on your lawn. You're also increasing the amount of water that stays on your lawn for a long period of time. The longer you have that higher volume of water on your lawn, that's definitely going to make your lawn more susceptible to brown patch. This is actually why my lawn looks the way it does, because I mow it tall, I mow it frequently. I also change up the direction every now and then, so I'm training it to naturally stand up straight no matter which direction I mow it. Also fertilizing monthly with Milorganite, and I'm irrigating only when needed, which has been very rare this year due to all the cooler temperatures and rain we've been getting. Also, as I mentioned earlier, airflow is key to keeping your lawn green in the summer, because if not, you're going to be more susceptible to fungus. Mowing your lawn very often doesn't only keep everything on an even playing field, but it also allows for the lawn to get airflow very frequently, because I want you to think about it. When you go over the lawn, especially with a rotary mower, that blade is spinning, and not only is it cutting the blades off, it's also providing a little bit of airflow from the ground up down into the soil. As that blade spins, it's also providing a little bit of airflow to get from the ground up here down into the bare soil, allowing the soil to dry off. That's also why it's good to mow your lawn frequently. Remember, airflow is key. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I hope you learned something from today's video, and if you did, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. And in return, I'm going to show you how to get a lawn as green and as thick as this in no time and get you dominating. With that, I'm Jake the Lawn Kid. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.